This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Exceptional set of actors in studio. If you haven't gone and seen Gone Kesh, it's time you went and saw it. And actually, it's the precursor to all these films on male pattern balding. So they're the ones that got there first. Shweta, Tripathi, wonderful to see you, my dear. How are you?
Very, very good. And before anything else, I just want to say that I'm such a fan of your voice and what you say and how you say it, that it's always a pleasure to be here.
You're such a kind woman. Thank you very much. Deepika, Amin, wonderful to have you back on the show.
Yeah, hi Hrishi, love your voice.
Thank you. Vipin, Sharma, welcome to the show. Yes.
Thank you so much. Lovely meeting you.
So, was this all prosthetics, or did you actually shave your head off? Because if it's prosthetics, it's a very, very good job.
It is all prosthetics. It is all Preeti Shields, her and her team. But having said that, when Kasim told me that this is the story, I was all ready. I'm like, wow, because I always wanted to do this for a character. Because अब real life में ये सब नहीं करोगे, you know. So I whatever ये सब अतरंगी जो चीज़ें होती हैं या फिर trying out different clothes and different lives. So I was very excited and I was ready to shave it off. And then he said, no, we need to show there's a past and present. So we need to keep your hair, but it'll be all prosthetics. But my respect for all the actors and all the makeup artists who do prosthetics has gone up so much because it takes a lot of patience, time and effort.
Vipin, you made a very, very interesting comment off the mic, and I'm sure you don't mind me bringing it on the mic, saying writers are finally getting their due.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, we had forgotten about them.
Yes.
With the notable exception of Salim and Javed, who at their time turned around and insisted that they were on posters.
Yes.
We find more and more writers coming onto posters and things like that. And really, the focus now seems to be on telling stories from the heartland and small town India.
Yes, absolutely.
Did that appeal to you? Because this is a story set in Siliguri in West Bengal.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first came to know that the shoot will happen there, I was very excited because I've been to Kolkata, but not further than that. So, and I like the idea that we are using a place which is not a mainstream location. And we found such a great location. It was just like, one of those Disney locations, a small village, small, cute village. With a lot of, also got for me, it was also a very interesting experience to see how people live there. There are so many people in our country that we don't know. Quite a lot of the families had their husbands gone to army and stuff, and they were living there. And so, it was an eye opener in that sense also.
In that aspect, Siliguri is really an interesting place, Deepika, because even though it is part of West Bengal, it's at the foothills to go up into the Himalayas. So you have a lot of Nepalis, you have a lot of Northeast culture also there. Did you find that when you were there filming?
Yes, we were in a typical small house. What was where were they from? Those people. They were not Nepali. They were Nepali.
Yeah,
okay.
It was a Nepalese.
It was actually a Nepali family whose house we shot in, and they were such wonderful people. The way we bonded with them, as he was saying, the husbands had gone off to the army, and the women and the children were there, and they just welcomed us with open arms. It was absolutely wonderful experience.
And I have to say this, that you couldn't have asked for a better set of on-screen parents.
Oh yes, absolutely. In fact, the cutest and the sweetest was, so we used to go do our scenes in the morning, and then every night the three of us have gone for dinners, or we've gone to the mall to watch a movie, or gone shopping. So it was a family, and I still remember that they wrapped up, I think, 3 days before me. And I just felt like, you can't leave me and go. Like, don't do this. And Jitu was there, and he's also fabulous. But like, with them leaving, it just felt wrong. Like, you both can't leave. Anybody can leave, but we had my tea, chai hum peete the. In fact, we got a day off, and we had gone to Kalimpong, and our director is from there. So he could not make it, but three of us, we hired a car, we went over there, had momos and coffee, and went to 2-3 places and just came back.
I was about to ask if the momos was on the menu. It's such an integral part of the film, isn't it?
Actually, why we managed to do that trip to Kalimpong was because it was Holi that day, and the whole unit was playing Holi, but we three actors were not allowed to play Holi because in case we got color on our faces, that didn't go because we were going to be shooting the next day. So we three sat depressed in our hotels, wondering what to do. And he said, just let it be, we'll go. So we just quietly hired a car and just snuck off, and we spent the whole day in Kalimpong. What a wonderful time we had.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So is the screenplay also written by Kasim?
Yes.
Who are your writers? If you could just fill me in on that, because I think the writing in that aspect is very, very beautiful, especially in all the relationship and the interplay. Yeah. So Qasim himself has written the
Yeah, Qasim
screenplay.
wrote it.
Yeah.
And Qasim is a Kida, filmy Kida. He's
Yes.
he's seen almost every Hindi film. A huge fan of Basu Bhattacharya, Hrishikesh Mukherjee, and so he has a very good sense of dialogues also. So I think the entire
Entire
screenplay
script
dialogues is
is written by him.
And
So-
he didn't know how to speak in Hindi or write or
Yeah.
read, and it's only through films that he
So,
got to know.
where is
and
he
that
from
was
fundamentally?
Kalimpong.
Kalimpong.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Which is why he understands that whole milieu very, very well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he's worked with the Yashraj films for a very long time. So, I mean, he's been assisting and he's been working with them. In fact, I know him through the shoot of Fan, where he was doing the behind the scenes video. So that's how I really know him. So,
So
I mean,
ma'am
he's got
didn't
his
know, Deepika
experience.
ma'am didn't know that she's a part of the film, but yeah, Qasim knew at that time that she has to be, Inakshi's mother.
Yeah.
And actually, that's quite nice because you find a lot of associates on sets who are really bright, sharp people.
Yes.
And especially as far as actors are concerned, you guys are such phenomenal actors that I'm sure that they constantly are building their own pool of future actors for their own films, isn't it? Does it happen with you that, ADs on films come to you and say, Shweta ma'am, I have a script, can I just send out to you and things like that? Does that happen often?
So I think that's the sweetest compliment that you can get, because on screen, let's say audience ko, majority of the people ko dikhta hai, that's what you're doing, your work. But it's how you're off screen. If the assistants like that,
you.
only then will they come approach, because you might be just a terror on set. You might be amazing on screen, but in real life, if you're not fun to work with, they won't come and ask you. So it's very sweet when that happens, and obviously you want to support them and be with them.
Lovely. How does it feel, that post Gone Kesh happening, it had its theatrical release, and now it's being seen on multiple platforms. You have this slew of films on.
Ball films.
I mean, the condition that Shweta has in the film is alopecia, right? But, male pattern balding or whatever it is. So, do you say to yourself, Vipin, that, we've been there before?
Alopecia is different from male pattern balding.
I
It's
understand.
it's a disease of the skin, but our main thing is that this happens to a woman. So I personally feel that balding men you see everywhere. I mean, my own husband is bald, my father, my uncles, and I was just personally thinking, when I got married to my husband, he was bald. How many people would marry a bald woman? Think about that.
And the film asks those very, very important questions, because, what does your own hair mean to you?
So that's the thing. I didn't even know about alopecia before, and I think that's a great thing about being an actor, that you just get to explore so much, and you get to see that, oh my God, this is what they're going through. And that is so. This is what Neeraj, our Masan Ke director, he had told Richa, Vicky, and I. He said, you guys are so lucky because you get to live the character, and I think that is just so true. Coming to your previous question, the thing is, I don't think any one of us saw it as competition, but yeah, it does feel when you see a film like this, which is backed by known producers, it definitely helps, and there's no denying that. But still, I don't think there's any negativity, and you feel happy that a film like that is doing well. But yeah, you do feel that, yeah, kash, hame at least 10% of that support hota. And it's just not about the producers or, star names attached. It's also the audience. I think it's a huge responsibility that the audience has, that it's like voting. Your every ticket, your every view that you give to a trailer or you give to Amazon, it matters. And it's only when you support cinema or smaller films, it gives a power to, a Qasim or many more Qasims to make the kind of films they want to make.
That's very beautifully put, and I want you to add to this, Vipin. Also, because what happens is that you can laugh about ganja men. You can even chat about it in a frivolous manner. But as far as women losing their hair is concerned, it's really, really serious. And in India, in any case, we're obsessed about looks. Fairness cream sell the maximum here. Wigs perhaps sell the maximum here. So Indian society's obsession with looks. Your thoughts on that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to girls, women. There are standards set by advertising and other things. When I read the script, I loved the fact that here's a father who's like. When I first read the script, I thought, for someone it may not matter that the girl is losing hair, but for a father it could be something huge. And that's what attracted me to do the film. And I had decided I actually call it my redemption film post Tare Zameen Par, because that's what I had decided when I read the script. I decided in this film I am not going to get angry even for a second. That was my main this thing in the film. And you know, it also translates as a relationship between a father and daughter, that the father says, no matter what, I'll bring your hair back. This might sound funny to someone, some other father, कि यार ये क्या है? But you know, for that father, it's something very huge. And the other thing that, you know, I'm very happy that the film is now on a platform like Amazon, and I really would love to all of us would try and see that lots of people watch it, so that they can see another gem of a film, which is also a very simple human story. And you know,
You want to tell us about the other platforms it's on? I know that it's on Amazon.
So it's on Vodafone, it's on Shimaru, it's on Airtel and Vodafone. And one
also on Tata Sky in Bollywood channel. Tata Sky Bollywood channel.
Yeah, so you guys have no excuse at all. You know?
it's everywhere, we are
It's
everywhere.
wonderful performances, and it's, you know, it's also the kind of film that can be enjoyed alone on your phone. You know, some films are you like to go and see with the family because it's a blockbuster entertainment kind of thing. This one's a sweet little film that you can even enjoy solo, watching on the phone. I want to ask you this question because as parents, you go through that. You know, you go through a phase when you say, I'll do anything to make my child happy. And that, because of that, sometimes you fall prey to quacks. Like, I was seeing these doctors who are trying to treat your character and going, these guys have a huge industry in India, you know, how to get rid of balding. And then even the sophisticated doctors and the well-read doctors are actually using steroids and things like that. And that's a very important message the film sends out. I want you to talk about that, Shweta.
It's very interesting that you are talking about this, because in Gone Kesh, I am the patient, I'm at the receiving end, and in Lakhon Mein Ek season 2, I'm the doctor.
Oh, I haven't seen
who
that.
actually I promise you will
It's
really
popped up on my
like it.
timeline, but I need to see it. Yeah.
So in that I play a doctor who actually exposes a quack. So again, it's just so fulfilling that you get to be on either sides. But yeah, Gone Kesh mein, somebody I met in the morning told me that this person had seen Ujra Chaman, had seen Bala and Gone Kesh. And he said, what I love about Gone Kesh is that it's just not one person's journey. Which I think for us also that got us together was because whenever anything happens, be it an accident or be it a disease or whatever incident happens in your life, you will never be alone. Even if you're in a city where you have no family and friends, you still won't be alone. So something like this, when something happens to the daughter, it's the entire family that is affected. You know, they might be doing their jobs, but at the back of your mind, it's always their dreams take a compromise. And I think that's the beauty about Gone Kesh, that chahe unko Taj Mahal jana ho, that flight ticket which is so important to them, but they're ready to give that up because something is more important, because maybe the doctor's marriage is more important, or what the daughter wants is more important. So I think
I'm
that's
really
a special
happy you
thing.
brought that up, because, you know, somewhere along when I was watching this film, I said, man, it's getting a little serious. And then a couple of these comic sequences where, you know, the father, which is Vipin's character, you know, just has this banter with the guys in the bazaar. And some of that stuff is really hilarious, and that really lightens things up. And in fact, the film ends in a beautiful note. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but just the going to the Taj Mahal and taking a flight is such an important. That's what I mean by great writing.
Small desires.
Are you sensitive to that? I mean, are you sensitive, Deepika, to being in a film that people shouldn't view as too heavy? Because at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right?
No, we were very particular about that, and even Kasim was very clear all along that this has to be a feel-good, heartwarming film that ends on a positive note, that should exude positivity and not depression all the way through. So even though they are going through something, the parents are positive, they know they will somehow work around this, and they are sure they will succeed. And the film does end on a very happy, high-end, positive note.
And the irony that when she's a child, they encourage her to dance, but then when she wants to dance later, they suddenly get scared and they don't encourage her. You know, which I thought was also a very poignant moment. But then everything works out fine at the end of it. I also thought that Jitu's character was very well etched out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The fact that this guy, you know, is you are his childhood sweetheart and things like that, and ultimately I was like, how is this going to be resolved and things. And it's not as though he's been shown as a weak character, because the logical thing to do was कि अच्छा लड़की गंजी है तो किसी और differently abled वाले
कुछ
के साथ
कमी
match
होगी,
करा लो.
हाँ.
कमी.
Yeah.
You know, and since he's not here, I'll allow you to talk about that character, please.
So Jeetu, it was Qasim always knew that he wanted Jeetu for the part, and I think Jeetu as an actor, he gets so much. You know, there's so much flavor that he gets, and there was a very beautiful scene between Jeetu's father and Jeetu, which is not there in the film anymore. But I think that scene was very important because now Jeetu gets to know that bhai Inakshi has this condition, and he talks to his father about it. And the father very matter-of-factly says, "Tujhe farak padta hai?" And he says, "Nahi." He said, "So, like, that's it. That's the end of discussion." And I remember because Chetna Sharma, my husband, he's 5 years younger. So I remember when I told my mom about it, that, you know, he's 5 years younger. And my mom had said the same thing. In fact, she was dropping me to the airport. And she said, "Does it matter to you? Like, is it an issue? Is it something that you think about or worry about?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "That is it. Like, it will become an issue if you think it's a big deal, if you make it a big deal." And I think that is just like Jeetu's character, because he loved this girl for whatever reasons. Definitely appearances do matter. But just because appearances, maybe there are few different changes in the appearance, does not mean that you do not like the person or you like any lesser. And I think we just need more Jeetu's Shrijoy is the character he plays. More Shrijoys in the world that who are just supporting people to be themselves and not trying to change you or, you know, alter you according to or how they would like to see you.
Yeah. And also, it must resonate and take all of us back to our school days. Children can be so cruel. My God.
And that's how the name of the film comes, because
Yeah.
when she's bullied in school by all the children, they say she calls somebody a gone case, and they say, "You are gone Kesh," and then they bully her like that.
Kids are.
Yeah, kids are cruel.
Yeah, kids are. No two ways about it.
Nasty.
So, you know, the kind of actors that you are, Vipin and Deepika, you get to work with so many leading men and women in the conventional sense of the word. And you see all sorts. And I'm not going to ask you to comment on the other actors. But it must be such a breath of fresh air to work with somebody like Shweta. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of photographs of both of them buried in the menu and trying to find out what should we order.
Yeah, there's a photo where both of us are holding our heads, sitting and holding our heads, and it would look like, what are they? I think we're looking at a menu, trying to decide what to order. And in fact, what she was saying, that we hung around so much as a family that time, whenever her fiance would call her, "So what are you doing?" She'd say, "I'm going out for dinner with my parents." Practically every single day, because all you're doing is hanging out with your parents. Yeah, full month.
And there was a very, very special moment. One of the ADs was trying to be extra smart, and I got to know कि अच्छा ठीक है थोड़ा जो भी है, and I was ignoring it. But Dad was dead, and he came on set and he bajawed his happiness, and he made sure, because what he was doing was really wrong. The AD was doing, and I just felt so, you know, protected and taken care of, that I don't need. They've got my back. And that, I think, is so important, because these are the, like, you know, the beginning few projects that you're doing, and to have somebody so senior, so talented, and you know कि अच्छा ये है तो you're all right.
No, in that aspect, you know, I have a lot of friends who are character actors in the business who turn around and say that there is, it depends on the leading man and the leading woman. Because some of them can be cordial, sweet, and some of them can treat you like family. You know, in this case, obviously, there's a huge bond with somebody like Shweta. You know, but I'm sure there have been enough instances in your life where, you know, there's just been a high, a low, and you've gone to your respective makeup rooms. You know?
And that
To each
shows
his
in
own.
your film. It will seep into your film.
And that atmosphere resonates on the whole set. The way the friendship that we had, the bonding, the laughter and happiness, it comes across in the film also. The warmth that was there actually on the set is
After
is there in the
lunch
film.
every day. So lunch used to be amazing, because Qasim, our director, वो एक बड़े से PA system पे he used to play music and old songs. And three of us, हम लोग अपना lunch वंच करके, we used to call it we hated sitting in the vanity अकेले. That never happened. So we used to take our chairs, sit outside, and we used to say we are meditating. And all of us used to pass out having momos or whatever. But that was also so special कि हाँ, don't worry, we are chilling here. Like, don't worry, oh my God, actors out on set, or, you know, jaldi karo. We're like, we are absolutely fine here. Eyes shut karke, and there are lot of photographs of that as well.
I'm just curious to know, not because you owe the media media or the audience any explanation. But how did Chaitanya, which is Slow Cheetah, and your parents react to that orgasm scene in Mirzapur? Did you have any explaining to do at home?
You know, surprisingly, that's the weird thing, or actually, that's a, I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, they are the ones who understood.
Wow.
They are the ones who did not even once ask me, Beta, why? Or, you know, Shweta, why did you have to do that? What is disheartening and disappointing is when we were doing promotions for Mirzapur and I was sitting, Shreya, Rasika and we were sitting, and there was this group of, I think, 5 to 6 female journalists, and they came and it was gossip for them, and they were giggling and they were like, अच्छा श्वेता तो आपने ना बहुत bold scene किया है. And I'm like, that is not bold. I said थोड़ा तो respect. And there were lists that there was a list of people who've masturbated, women actors who've masturbated on screen, and I'm like, what kind of a list is that? And just because both my families are so supportive about what I do, and because they understand my passion and how crazy I am about work, they are not asking me questions, but who are you again, and how can you at least respect and support the actors who are doing this, and not, you know, talk about it as though it's just for me, it's like something, if I had to say it in one line, Golu is doing something that makes her happy, without harming anybody, without preaching, without saying anything to anybody. क्या बिगाड़ा उसने किसी का? But that became such a big thing, and I remember during the PR, I had told Excel, I said, this will not be a talking point because they will take it in the wrong way. So when women only don't understand that, male ko theek hai. It's like, you know, ki वही टकला is a joke, कि टकला टकला टकला. वैसे ही कि, but when men do it, it's just funny. And there's a trailer that's come out. I can really talk about the name and everything, but I'd rather not do it because उसमें वो जो the बलात्कारी dialogue, I couldn't believe it.
I know which one it is.
I said, how can you say that?
Yeah.
And again, having said that, it's entertainment and जी लो थोड़ा. I think जैसे हर चीज पे अब लोग चढ़ जाते हैं. Take it easy, but in this situation, you can't do it. So when I see stuff like that, my blood boils. And how you are responsible for everything you're attaching your name to, your face to. So I think even as actors, I mean, guys, come on, we all get dialogues, but there has to be a moral compass that needs to be in place.
Have you changed scripts and dialogues? At
All
times?
the
All the time.
time.
Oh, yes.
All
And,
the time.
and sometimes you must be unpopular for it. I mean, in the sense, people must be turning around and saying,
But thankfully,
what the hell, you know,
the
why?
kind of people I've worked with, be it Masano, Haramkaro, Kesh, Cargo, Lakho Mein, Mirzapur, they're all very open. So I don't know the other side, जहाँ पे ये होता नहीं है, and मुझे उस side पे जाना नहीं. That's why when a lot of people say, you know, Shweta, what about commercial films? But that is not a benchmark for me. This is the kind of work I want to do. Even if I'm doing a Lakho Mein once a year, I'm happy. I'm actually happy. That is not my race.
So when does Cargo come out?
So we are in talks. We are looking for a distributor. We are just hoping because the feedback was really good at Mami. But now fingers crossed. Now, why that's
So
the
you're saying it
thing
might
that you
not
have
even
to-
get a theatrical, it might go straight to OTT or
That's a
something.
painful bit about doing such films, and that's what in Kesh we were ready. We knew कि कहाँ हो सकता है, क्या हो सकता है, but you know you're always hoping for that miracle. कि come on, please कुछ हो जाएगा. ठीक है, हमारे पास अगर PNA का उतना पागलों वाला बजट नहीं है, but audience will support, media will support. But then when you just go without a trace, that is what you feel about. Not bad about Bala or Ujra Chaman, but you just feel that, guys, we were also
See,
there.
sometimes I feel it's maybe earlier we used to say festival films, but I feel once again in this context also, I feel sometimes one should, as a filmmaker, resist the temptation of releasing the film. If your film is powerful, send it abroad, send it to a festival. Once it gets name in few festivals, it becomes a hit here. A, you get a lot of publicity. B, you don't have to spend as much money to make the film familiarized within the audience. Your film already has a name that it has done so well in few festivals. As it is, if you release your film, you're not gonna get much money because niche films are niche films.
But you know something, Deepika and Shweta and Vipin, is that I think because we grew up on theatrical cinema, we are the generation that is obsessed with theatrical cinema. The millennials don't care.
No.
They're just very happy with their phone. I mean, they'll still go and watch the Avengers and Salman Khan films on large screens because they want that experience. But otherwise, they're more than happy with a Gone Kesh being on multiple platforms. I think
And
it's.
I think it'll do much better.
I think it's we who are like, oh, theatrical.
I
hona
already have
chahiye.
started getting messages from
Yeah.
friends that we saw the film and loved it.
So because we grew up on that, for us it's like ek dili tamanna.
Yeah.
you know,
Bada
screen
parda.
pe.
See it on
Right.
big screen.
But
yeah.
these days, kids just don't care, you know. And I think the kind of actors that you are, you know, you're made for OTT platforms, you know, and you will continue to do well both in OTT as well as mainstream. Okay, last couple of questions before we wrap. This is concert season. You would know that you're very cued in with music. So because Amit Trivedi is on tour, Katy Perry and Dua Lipa, they're famous international artists, they're on tour, coming to India. U2's on tour. A concert that you went to, you're not allowed to say a slow chicken. A concert that you went to that you really liked in India or abroad or whatever. You know?
So this is a psychological thing. I think that because I'm short, so for me concerts was always a place that I thought that I need to be at an elevated platform or maybe the VVIP area, just because I think I'll just get lost in a concert. So though I went to a concert really late in life, and that was Above and Beyond, that happened in Bombay, and that was beautiful. And that was that hota na ki keeda aapko kaat leta hai. So that was my concert ka keeda. And then but suddenly when Coldplay was here, I was not in the country, so it's my dream to see Red Hot Chili Peppers. Cheetah had gone for it. He went to Egypt, and I'm just like, oh my god! I said, can I please come? But it was a bachelor's trip, so I was not allowed. But I think I would love to experience Red Hot Chili Peppers and Coldplay for sure.
But Above and Beyond is like a sound and light show. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I'm glad you went.
Even Kygo, I'm sure I keep seeing his photographs, and that just
I saw
stunning.
Pink Floyd long ago.
Oh my
I'm
god!
mad watching that. It's just surreal to watch it.
Because the psychedelic lights are just.
And also the number of props and things that they do on stage is just, it's like a dream.
The greatest concert I saw,
amazing.
which will tell you how old I am, it was in the late 80s at the Amnesty concert in Delhi, where there was Bruce Springsteen,
Tracy
Peter
Chapman.
Gabriel, Tracy Chapman, and Sting. Oh my god, it was something else. And at that
Jawaharlal
time-
Nehru Stadium. Yeah.
And at that time, Tracy Chapman was not so well known. So she was, the opening singer was Yusundur, am I pronouncing
You're
his
right.
name wrong?
Yusundur, yeah.
Yusundur, followed by Tracy Chapman, and then the big names came on. So people were like, oh come on, who's this solo girl standing with a guitar? People who didn't know, they were like, oh, we got Bruce
And in Delhi,
Springsteen.
it
It
must
wasn't
have
like
been
that.
Bhangra Bajao.
No, it wasn't like that.
Somebody must have said.
No, it wasn't like that. I mean, they were all music lovers there. Don't run Delhi down so much.
No, it's a fact.
हम तीनों दिल्ली वाले
हम तीनों दिल्ली वाले
No,
हैं.
but
Yeah.
musician friends of mine say that all the time.
Exactly. बांग्ला जब
Yeah,
तक नहीं
but
हुआ
I mean, they didn't know her and they didn't appreciate her music, and I was like, oh my god, this lady is amazing. But what a concert that was! What a high! And that was the first concert actually I ever went to.
Lovely. Just like she talked about Cargo, any film that you're excited about that that you worked in? Is there anything up for release?
One film that I've been making last 4 years. It's like amazing. I have never given up and I won't. Is eventually coming on as a web series now. So it's being edited. It's called Akki Vikki Te Nikki. It's about these actors who are not actors and how zabardasti wo ek film mein ghus jate hain, and then the film becomes a blockbuster.
Oh, lovely.
And the producer's son who wants to grow sunflowers eventually ends up making a gangster film and becomes a gangster filmmaker.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
That's the premise of it.
Wow. And you directed it?
I
yeah?
directed it, I wrote it, I edited it. I also played an amazing character called Blind Director. So the USP of the Blind Director is कि मैं गंदे एक्टर को 50 फीट की दूरी से सूंघ लेता हूँ. And so I created that character, which is, I don't know if I can say that, but kind of too small. I'm too small to say that, but in my mind it was a tribute to Woody Allen, Hollywood ending, in which he was blind. And
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I love you guys to see it actually. So it's being edited right now. So
Yeah, please call us. We'll all have a party.
absolutely.
I have this film coming out on 22nd of November. It's called Ram Prasad Ki Tervi. It did very well in the Mami right now.
Standing ovation and all. I really wanted to see that
Yeah,
film.
it's a great film. Please see it. And it's got an incredible cast. I mean, I think I'll spend the whole day saying the names like Nasir Sir, Supriya Pathak, Konkana, and lots
Massey
of people.
is also
yeah,
there,
Massey. Lots of people. So it's about this
Massey's
patriarch.
in Cargo with you.
Yeah.
So It's a very interesting film about a patriarch who passes away and the entire family converges and what happens after that.
I really like the poster as well.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a-
even
it's a-
when I
It's a
met
great
Seema,
film
I
and it's the
told her,
directorial debut of Seema Bhargava Pava. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, she's written
very
it and
cool
directed it herself.
Yeah.
Seema and I
she's
did
on
a lot of theatre once in Delhi. Actually, we were the leading pair in a lot of the stories on stage.
Nice. She's amazing.
So, yeah.
Wow, both Manojji and Sheet. Wonderful. So, are you in a position to tell me what Cargo is about? Or
Yeah.
what is-
Cargo is a science fiction film, and what is really fascinating about Aarti Kadam, who's a debut director with Cargo. So the entire story, she sees the world in science fiction. Like, kuch bhi agar, even if it's a radio setup, she will, set it in space. So it was very interesting because no matter how many talented writers or directors I've met, but सबकी दुनिया तो यही है ना. चाहे वो मिर्ज़ापुर, I think, is the most farthest away world from mine. Like Golu is very different from Shweta. But Cargo to is set in space. Like, you just take us out of our comfort of everything. So it's about Prithvi pe when people die, they come to this spacecraft, where their bodies, their souls are extracted. कुछ भी उनको अगर problem है, दर्द है, so वो healing होती है, and then their bodies go into another realm. So it's about just afterlife, but it's simple and it's beautiful. It's not, nobody's trying to be very intellectual, या फिर, but when you see the props, when you see the costumes, everything, the detailing is fantastic. So even though it's a small film, it doesn't feel like a sasti film.
What did you think of Cheetah and Gully Boy?
Oh, he is raw. He was so good. I'm like, Cheetah, you're the bad guy, because he always underplays it, and we don't discuss. I'm not allowed to talk about Mirzapur at my place because everybody from my mother-in-law to Cheetah, everybody's a fan. So kuch bhi hota, they're like, no, we don't want to see any photos. So same way, even Cheetah didn't speak about Gully Boy. It was always about his experience, but never what he was doing. So when we saw it, we were like, Cheetah! It's always, it's fun. And the thing is, when you live with somebody, I think थोड़ी भी acting, बहुत acting दिखती है. So that is a challenge that both of us have to be impressed by each other's work.
The most good-looking bad boy.
Yeah, I'll take that compliment
Lovely.
as mine.
Thank you very much, and keep doing the great work you're doing. And thank you very much for a wonderful cinematic experience. Gone Kesh has stayed with me. Thank you, Vipin. Thank you, Deepika. And thank you, Shweta.
Thank you so much.